The NHL buyout window is officially open, and we have our first couple of players going through the buyout process. That started here with the LA Kings and the Philadelphia Flyers. We'll get into all the details coming up next. Welcome back to Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams, so if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. So the NHL buyout period is officially underway and will run here until June the 30th, so we likely will see some more activity on that front. We did a video not too long ago discussing who we thought would be the top 10 most likely candidates to be buyout candidates here for this period of time. If you missed that video, I'll put a link up here in the YouTube cards. You can certainly go check that out. And I'd love to hear your comments as well as what other players might end up in this position as well. But for starters here, the LA Kings have decided to buy out defenseman Dion Phaneuf. Now, of course, this contract has been criticized for a long time. He was signed back in 2013 by the Maple Leafs on a 7-year, $49 million contract, giving him an annual cap hit of $7 million. Now, of course, since that contract was signed, Dion's been traded on a couple of occasions. He ended up going to the Ottawa Senators, where he played for about a year and a half, and then was later shipped to the LA Kings, where he was here before this buyout. During the trade from Ottawa to LA, they did retain 25% of that salary, so a little bit over $1 million here was retained by them. And of course, that amount that they're paying him will also be impacted here by this buyout. When Dion first went to LA, things got off to a pretty decent start. The first few weeks, he was looking pretty good, but really the overall last season as a whole was pretty frustrating and pretty disappointing by the Kings and by Dion Phaneuf himself. So overall, not a good fit anymore. The Kings are trying to get younger, free up some roster spot, get some cap space freed up here if they can as well. And the retooling begins there in LA with Dion being bought out. Now, how this is going to work, he had 2 years remaining on his contract. So this is going to be stretched out over a 4-year period. What happens is you take the remaining salary. For a player his age, he gets 2/3 of the money over twice the period of time. So that means that this contract is now going to have an implication on the LA Kings cap hit for 4 years instead of 2, but at a reduced amount. Now, of course, Dion, for the coming year, is only going to have a cap hit of 2.187 for 1920. So, of course, down from the 5.25 that they were already responsible for. Of course, the other 1.75 is responsible to the Senators. Now, in 2021, though, they're not going to get a whole lot of relief here. That's the 1 year where it's only going to be minimal, where their cap hit's going to be $4.062 million. So it's only a little over $1 million savings for next year. Then they get 2 additional years at just a little bit over $1 million cap hit. So they're going to be tied to the Phaneuf contract for 4 years instead of 2, but each year is going to be at a reduced amount. So at least they do end up saving some cap space here, mostly for the coming season. And then after that, they're going to have, obviously a bit of a recapture here where they're going to be stuck with them for 3 more years. But either way, it frees up a roster spot. It does save them some money. And he is one of the players that we had discussed that likely would end up in this predicament. So, of course, now that makes Dion Phaneuf an unrestricted free agent. He's free to sign with any team. I'm not real sure 100% if he'll get an opportunity or not. Obviously, he's slowed down a lot. His game has really changed. Would not be completely shocked, though, to see some team take a chance on him on a short term, maybe the veteran contract, 1 year, $1 million, something to that effect. I'm not sure exactly who might be interested or where he'll end up, but I guess we'll see here over the coming days as free agency prepares to open where he might go or who might show interest, if anybody. So I guess we'll see on that one. Now, the other buyout that happened today was the Philadelphia Flyers parting with defenseman Andrew MacDonald. Now, like Phaneuf, this contract really was been criticized for a long time as being a bad contract. They acquired him from the New York Islanders and then signed him to a 6-year contract worth $30 million for a cap hit of $5 million. Now, McDonald's down to 1 season left. So obviously the long-term implications are a little bit less than what Dion and the LA Kings are going to be looking at here. Obviously, in McDonald's case, the buyout amount will only be stretched out over 2 years instead of 1. So obviously right now, instead of having a $5 million cap hit for the coming year in 1920, the cap hit will only be 1.16. And then in 2021, they will have an additional year on there, $1.916 million. So obviously they're going to save close to $4 million for the coming year, but then obviously have an extra amount for 1 more year after to deal with. And then they'll be finally free of Andrew MacDonald. Now, even not long into this contract, he ended up spending a fair bit of time in the minors, about a half a season. He's been with the Flyers consistently for the past couple of years, but certainly hasn't been great. He certainly has had his share of struggles for sure. He came out of junior with a lot more promise, played with the Islanders for a while, and things just kind of fell off a lot sooner than many had predicted, and really this has been a bad contract for a long time. Of course, we have already seen the Flyers here make another trade, trading Radko Gudas as well for Matt Niskanen. So as we've indicated, I expect the Flyers to be a very busy team, making many transactions. Of course, that's the second contract now that's been changed for their blue line. I expect many more swaps to be coming here for not only the blue line, but other parts of their team as well. But I think overall, team defense is certainly an area of focus for this team. So we'll see what other moves Chuck Fletcher makes as he really starts to put his stamp on the team here and see if he can make them more competitive and get into the playoffs next year. I know ownership at Comcast is certainly beginning to be very frustrated and wants this team back in the playoffs. So there certainly is some pressure from them down to Chuck and his staff to get this team back going here into the playoffs for next year. So we'll see what other moves they make, but I certainly expect them to be busy for sure. There's certainly plenty more players who could end up in the buyout situation while this window is open. Obviously, we talked about recently some guys like maybe David Backes in Boston, Carl Alsner in Montreal, maybe Corey Perry in Anaheim. There's lots of others as well. Like I said, that video we did covers at least 10 other players that we thought might be candidates for this situation. So let me know what you think of these buyouts and what other players you expect to possibly see going through this process over the next couple of weeks while this buyout period is open. If you're new to the channel, I hope you consider subscribing. We cover all 31 NHL teams, and there's plenty of content here for all hockey fans to enjoy. So subscribe for more content just like this one, and give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it as well. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time.